What's up and welcome to Champions of Lore, a show all about the kick-ass stories behind some Idle Champions' coolest campaigns and characters. Every Monday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time here on twitch.tv/CNE Games or later on your favorite podcast service, Dave, Walters, and Erin M. Evans talk about all the Idle Champions lore that's fun to know about. If you're here with us live in the chat, you can leave a question that I, Treavor Bettis, will ask them later in the show. It's really hard to read this while Dave's dancing in my peripherals. But until then, Dave, Erin, why don't you introduce yourselves and then talk about some new project that's going on.
Hi, I'm Erin M. Evans. I am the author of the Brimstone Angels Saga, 6-book series set in the Forgotten Realms featuring Frida and Havilar, two wonderful champions from Idle Champions. I also play Cecilia on Dungeon Scrawlers on Wednesdays, but I'm going to let B-Dave tell you about the cool, exciting news. It's yours. You tell him.
Oh, wait. Yo.
You're muted, though. You're muted.
That's why I was giving you my interpretive dance so you can understand what it was I was trying to express to you. First, no,
it's amazing, by the way.
It's ours. Sorry, podcast listeners, you got to go get the VOD of that one.
You really need to. That was some excellent dancing.
Hi, hello, Dave Walters. Say words about things. Play freely, the luckiest boy, wherever fine streaming content can be sold. In fact, Erin and I are going to be turning up on Dungeon Drunks. What is it? Wait, is that one Dungeons and Drunks or Dungeons Drunk? Lauren,
I think it's Dungeon Drunks.
I'm sure Lauren's in the chat. If not, I can summon her by speaking her name 3 times. Lauren,
Lauren, come to us.
It's true, and she might bless us with the proper name of the show that you'll hear on Wednesday. But however, today of all days, it is a special announcement of a new show that is coming up that will be featuring the lovely Erin M. Evans as Mighty Havilar, Christina Ariel as Ariza, Mark Mir as Bailoff the Entertainer, Vivid Vidka as the Black Viper, eventually Adam Bradford as Briv, and me as Dungeon Master, and a couple of other surprise guests as we are doing Idle Champions Presents starting in 2 weeks, I think.
We've got some artwork that's going to cover up my face, but it's really cool. Check that out.
There it is. There it is. Yes. That's you know, when we got this art, it was a beautiful and amazing immediately. And my only note, they were like, "Do you want any changes?" I'm like, his right hand should be mechanical. So that's why I freely got his clockwork hand there. Yes.
Love it.
Monday, the 22nd at, I believe, 4 Pacific, which you would think I should know because I'm the one DMing, but I'm pretty sure
that's a true DM right there.
Yeah. And it's gonna go for 6 weeks. We're gonna have 2-3 episode arcs, and that's all I'm gonna say right now. Because if we get a little closer, we're gonna reveal a little more about what the individual story is. But it's going to be a campaign that is involving characters that are all in Idle Champions, and dear friends, here's the crazy part: the game of Idle Champions is going to affect the stream. And what happens on the stream is going to affect the game of Idle Champions.
Oh.
So tune in, play both. Erin is going to be wonderful as Havilar. Because she and Freely always have the best time together. And
Jay did put in our text document, it is indeed at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and goes until 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
See, I got this, y'all. I got this. Like, I find your lack of faith disturbing. Also, thank you, Jay. And yeah, I'll be able to translate more for Zuni for you. So it should be a grand old time. In the art, Treavor showed it. The art is up on the Idle Champions Twitter right now. Yep. Take a look.
Podcast listeners, go check it out on the Twitter feed because it is really cool. In fact, I'm having trouble getting rid of it off the stream because it's so pretty, but it's also covering up my face, which is ruining my ego. So I'm gonna take it down.
Your face is very pretty as well. Yes. And that is Luke McKay art, by the way, for anybody that is guessing. Shout out to our homies.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Oh, and hey, they're putting up more information right now on the Idle Champions Twitter. So look at this for cross promotion. You can go to the Idle Champions socials and see more information about it that I didn't share yet. But yeah, we're gonna be rolling out more over these next couple of weeks. But keep an eye out. I'm serious. This is a full transmedia project where the stream will affect the game will affect the stream. So don't miss it.
That's gonna be cool. That's gonna be really cool. I'm so excited to see how that works because listeners, I don't know anything. This is cool news to me too.
Yep.
Well, we're going to touch a little bit more on that later on at the end of the show, just so keep talking about it, keep promoting it. But until then, this week's episode is going to be about Chult, because last week a new hero or new champion came to the game, Human. Good old Human.
Human.
Yep, and doing the adventure for it is set in Chult, so we thought this would be a great time to talk about the island not island place where dinosaurs roam and try to eat your face along with zombies.
Just write a song.
I mean, oh, give me a home where the dinosaurs roam and the zombies try to eat your face. Where seldom is heard a powerful word.
Come on, you can do it.
You can watch a cool dinosaur race.
Yes!
I think we're good here. I don't think we have anything
Yeah, no,
else
that
to add.
was this week's
Yeah.
episode of Champions of Lore, everyone. You have a good one. See you next week.
We made we had a dance number, we had the announcement, we had the audio outro.
Full Broadway production. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, Chult. Okay, so let's get the elephant out in the room out of the way here.
The Triceratops out of the room.
The Triceratops in the room, as it were. Because those of you that know me know I have thoughts. I have thoughts on Chult, and my career was launched in no small part to my very vocal saying of words and thoughts I had about Chult. And I think the Tomb of Annihilation was what really set the conversation in motion properly about certain culturally insensitive aspects about Dungeons and Dragons that is continuing to evolve. Now, let me say this quite clearly. To WotC's eternal credit, WotC is the company, and Greg Tito in particular, shout out to Greg Tito, my homie, realized that we were right, that there were some things that were a little tone deaf. There were some things that probably should have been run past some other people before it went into publication. And to their eternal credit, they admitted it and changed. They work with people like me. They work with people like Tanya DePass, with Gabe James. I mean, a ton of a list of people that if I didn't say your name, it's not because I'm trying to swerve you there, to bring more voices and opinions to the table and change and improve the game and move it forward to the 21st century. So all of that has happened. Yay. Thank you, WotC. We appreciate you. We love you. Now, that being said, there's some hot garbage in Tomb of Annihilation, because if you're not familiar with the setting, okay, again, y'all, I grade on a curve in the sense that Dungeons and Dragons is, the Forgotten Realms over 50 years old now. I was at the 50th anniversary of them, and that brings with it a certain weight of the cultural backdrop that it was created in. And then it is rooted in a lot of Tolkien's mythology, which brings a lot of early 20th century cultural weight with it, which was rooted in Finnish mythology that goes back, into the dawn of centuries, that brings a certain cultural contextual weight with it, which in and of itself is not bad. It's just, times move and we go forward. In Chult in the 80s, y'all, I would say don't, but you know what? Do go Google some of the old 80s Chult stuff. It was I would say it was colorful, but it was the opposite of colorful. But there was pygmies, bones, cannibals, all of the Africa, the Dark Continent tropes were very present in Chult when it first appeared. And then when Tomb of Annihilation came out, a lot of that stuff was gone. But the thing that upset, me, I'm not going to try and speak for everybody, but that upset me personally, was the portrayal of the people of color in Chult, which for the most part are the people of they're the black people in the Forgotten Realms. Because I guess there's Al-Qadim, if Al-Qadim still exists.
Termishan, but
it's some other places, but for the most part, because Chult is non-specifically Africa-ish, with mixed in some other places sprinkled in. it very much felt like just a post-colonial narrative. That it's like, well, okay, we're not oppressed anymore, but we're still kind of living in our oppressor's shadows, you know, and our civilization is still very much a commentary on how we were defined by external forces. And I'm like, this is a fantasy game. You didn't have to do that. You know what I mean? You could have been like, all the black people live on the moon. Like you could have done anything. And we had to do this. This is what we did. This is what we did. Now, you know, and for the people that inevitably are like, well, it's just a game, it doesn't matter. Oh no. Let me give you a micro insight there. It is in games like this, in games that are about heroism, in games that are about escapism, in games that are about living into and being your best self, hopefully, and taking grand adventures with your friends, it is important to see yourself reflected in that material, to see yourself reflected both in heroism and in villainy also. In when you finally get to see people that look like you, and they're either in bondage or freshly removed from bondage, when you live in a world that is defined by your bondage, that sucks a lot. So it's changing, it's getting better, but there you go. That's backdrop Chult. That being said, dinosaurs and zombies are dope, and now we'll get into some.
I definitely that was something that needed to be said right up front, and literally nobody better than you, because again, as you said, that's what you started off on.
Well, and let me just say this one other thing. I never felt in my experiences that there was ever any maliciousness in the people that were telling these stories. They were telling the stories to the best of their ability. They just didn't know what they didn't know, and have actively worked to make it better. So please do not take anything I'm saying and go to Twitter and be like, B. Dave said it was, and WotC was terrible and Tomb of Annihilation was awful. I'm like, no. He's a little tone deaf. They're actively doing better. That's all.
Distinction.
Yep.
But also, I realize we're bouncing all over the place. But Erin said something, y'all. If you've ever done a show with me, when we're leading up to it, somebody will say something interesting, and I'm always like,
Yep.
No. Talk about that online.
I have started doing this with my other shows.
But it makes sense.
I've done it about 5 times with Champions of Psychology.
Save that till we're recording.
This is content. This is content.
That's what it is.
That's good.
I literally preface it with, in the words of B. Dave.
True. My dearest friend here, who I love tremendously, Erin M. Evans, said, you were not aware of the glory and terror that are the Terrafolk.
I was not. I was not aware of the Terrafolk.
Good God.
I was skimming the wiki entry to make brush up on what I know about Chult, and I saw that, and I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
People that turn into
You want to scare some players, have them go on a nice boat ride down a river, and then one of them is suddenly picked up and flown into the air by a giant pterodactyl man.
Pterodons are nasty. Like they're equal parts like Land of the Lost, but like Savage Lands from the X-Men in the 70s. Like it is all.
Oh my God, you're totally right about X-Men.
It's all that journey to the center of the earth-ish thing, you know.
You have this you have a river journey, and you have the Terrafolk coming from above, and then you have the Aldani, which is another thing that I had forgotten was in Chult, which are the crab lobster people patrolling in the river with their 20 trained piranhas. Why would you go in the river in Chult?
I mean, that's to be a great name for an adventure, by the way. Like, why would you go into an adventure in Chult? Why would you go into a river in Chult?
There's got to be a really good reason.
Well, every adventure that I've started in Chult, because especially right about that time, I did a lot of homebrew stuff, because as I was sharing with Erin and Treavor, when this first came out, as part of my counterpoint to the portrayal of the people there, is I did a lot of homebrew stuff that was not that. But I always started it off with one of the things that is mentioned in Tomb of Annihilation as a random encounter, which is a dinosaur covered in a tyrannosaur covered in zombies comes charging out of the jungle. You know what you're in for, by the way, when the first thing
That's a
you
good
experience is a Tyrannosaur covered in zombies
That was
running by. Like
that was literally the one thing in Chult my players refused to fight. Like, they saw it ahead of time, and I'm like, oh yeah, this T-Rex zombie comes rolling up and vomits out some more zombies, and they're like, we're good behind these trees.
Yeah, we're just gonna.
We're fine. No problem.
See, for me, I would always pit them against the Tyrannosaur when it was still alive, and they almost always help the Tyrannosaur. Almost always.
That's awesome.
Couple people just sort of dropped a fireball on the whole thing, and we're like, let me just. I have a more final solution here, but yeah, but the Terrafolk though, yeah. Every time I introduce one, I'm just channeling Sauron from the X-Men, the Sauron, the mutant Pterodon person from the Savage Lands, not Keeper of the One Ring, who also is a D&D trope, but he's in a different place. Although, you know, there's
castle.
Sauron, but he could be vacationing in Chult. Why not?
That's true.
And they're basically like worse lizard folk. It's kind of what the Terrafolk are. Yeah. It's yeah, the full dinosaur intelligence people are meat. That whole 9 yards thing, in Trevor's right.
Yeah, they are 10 feet tall and have a 20-foot wingspan. That is terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a pun.
I mean, it is now though. It is now though that it is terrifying. You know, I do see that as like a 50s like pulp poster now, like your players, Treavor, and they're on the boat, and like one of them's getting lifted off, and it just says like, "Don't go into the river in Chult," and then under that, it's terrifying.
Yes.
Oh my god!
Fair.
Like, sound like one of those like old movie posters. Yeah. Oh my god, that'd be great.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to be fair, I don't know that there's a place in the realms where you wouldn't kind of assess the situation and go, why would you go there? Because everything is constantly dangerous, because that's the point of the game, right?
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, there's and if some place just seemed legit, seemed just like super mellow,
It's a mimic.
It's a mimic.
I would be the most skeptical of that place.
Right?
You know?
Like, something is up here.
Mhm.
Oh, I can feel that in my soul in a game. Like,
Mhm.
you find this nice quiet inn and everybody's really polite, and you're like, okay, they're
Nope.
cultists,
Yeah.
or it's a giant mimic, or something's wrong. And if you're the DM, you're like, it's just a place to sleep. And they're like, nope, we're gonna break it
It
down
is.
to the studs, find out what is happening.
See, this is
Mhm.
why I like starting them off in somewhere nice and friendly, because then when they find another one, they're like, this is fine. It's like, nah, they're all vampires.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
big note.
I'm very much from the this is too good to be true school of thought, and my players have they've all caught on to me. But they know that every once in a while, on
Make a note
occasion,
for
I'll
that,
throw them a curveball that I'm like, no, this is exactly what it seems to be, and then I'm like, but then it's not though. Dun,
Dun, dun,
You know?
dun.
Yeah. I tell you, one of the wildest things about Chult, because it's not just humans that live down here. There's a lot of goblins. There's a lot of wild dwarves,
Yeah.
like jungle dwarves, which
Oh yeah.
it was weak. It was weird getting my head around jungle dwarves,
Mhm.
which I mean, let's be honest, jungle dwarves was a more culturally sensitive pygmies. That's cool. But the idea that it's like, because I realize that, you know, dwarves manifest in a lot of ways the same way drows do, but even like Dwegar live here. Dwegar, we've been through this. Where do we
Dwerger.
settle?
Dwerger?
Dwerger? Is that
I
what
still
we
I
say
don't
say?
remember
Dwegar.
if it's Dwerger or if that's what I say, and I'm wrong.
I think I still say Dwegar. It's funny that like we figure out the right way to do things and then like rescatter in 3 different directions. But I can spell it.
Yeah.
Are also there, which makes me wonder, because to me dwarves are synonymous with living underground.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so when you have like a jungle variant of that I was just like, because then I like way overthought it, where I was like, do their evolutionary adaptations assist them in this environment somehow? Like, I'm like, do they have shorter beards because of it?
Well, so
Don't, which bothers me so much. Like, I guess it could be like sloths live in the jungle and have really thick fur that's kind of long and it grows things, and that's advantageous. But part of me is like, wouldn't that just get like full of mold and algae and stuff and be uncomfortable and sweaty?
It does on sloths. Yeah.
Right?
Well, we already know dwarves are the worst creatures. I said what I said, chat. Dwarves, the worst creatures.
Oh my god. Well, so in the little blurb they have in the book, it says the Albanian dwarves of Chult were driven from their subterranean homes by volcanic activity, and those who didn't seek refuge in Port Nyanzaru adopted to living in the jungle. So I don't know how long ago that was. So it could have been it's a recent thing.
It's long enough for them to form a culture, like a distinct culture.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
But not long enough to evolve in out of it. And I mean, but even then, I feel like if you've been there long enough to sort of make changes to your culture so that you're distinct from mountain dwarves or hill dwarves or whatever they were before.
Oh, they also have innate spell casting.
Cut your beard off.
Yeah,
It's gonna be full of ants. It's not
It's
gonna
just
be
full
good.
of ants.
But maybe that's how they catch the ants and then they eat them.
Maybe.
Like,
See,
bring
that's
it
the
in,
thing. I want the explanation because I feel a little like I skimmed the wiki earlier and they're like, well, their hair covers their nakedness. I'm like, do they care?
Well, I
Like,
mean, this boy's definitely doesn't. Like, he's just
that's a different.
he's just
picture.
walking around and having a good time.
I love the idea of these like very chaste puritanical dwarves. Like it's like the freaking Donner Party. Like they just got lost in the jungles of Chult, but are very like do not gaze upon my nakedness.
Oh my god.
It's just like, no, I love the idea that like they come out, they're just covered in leaves and stuff. They're like, we got lost. We don't know what happened. How long have you been out there? Last time I knew it was March. Guys, it's April. Like, what happened to you?
They're like,
And
we
they're
only
dwarves, so
ate.
it's like April, but it's like 50 years later because they just lost track of time.
That is true. So jungle dwarves, that's the thing. And also a big goblin population, very fearsome trackers. The goblins of Chult are, which again is useful when you're like 3 feet tall and there's zombie tyrannosaurs around. You should probably have a pretty good idea of like where they are relative to you.
Seems like a good plan.
Yeah.
I do like the goblins of Chult. The I think it's the Batari.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I believe that's the name.
I like them. They're cool.
Yeah. It's,
But you were talking about like how dangerous Chult is. Like, why would you go there? I don't know if there's any other adventure book that has at least 4 types of plants that can kill you and roll initiative.
yeah.
Like,
like assassin vines.
Yeah.
Big fan of the old assassin vine, by the way.
yep. Then there's the triflower frond.
They
That-
have like a the Ulu Thalong
Hmm.
is like it's a sort of a being that kind of possesses trees and vines and things, and so it can follow you through the jungle and
Oh
then
my gosh.
Yep.
Oh yeah, man trap. That's another one. That's
Wait,
great.
also I just in looking up how to say that, I noticed that also mentions in the upper canopy of the jungles, black dragons were rumored to roost, and I love that. I love that as a black dragon adaptation, since they're usually like swampy ones.
I'm a fan.
Yeah. Are they still swampy ones? Yeah.
Well, also, it tells you everything that you need to know about the jungle, that it's got enough room for a black dragon to be up in there and you may not
Right.
know it.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
That's a really good point because it says rumored, and I
Yeah.
think in a lot of most temperate forests, I feel like there's enough space in there that if there's dragons roosting in the trees, there's no rumor,
Yeah, right. You know what it is? There's so many reasons why people just go like bopping out into the jungle on an expedition, up to and including entering a certain, recently recovered tomb, and just don't come back. And so you're like, well, it could have been a giant plant, could have been jungle dwarves, could have been dinosaurs or zombies or zombie dinosaurs, or black dragon.
right?
Yeah.
Biodiversity.
Just go full Ian Malcolm. Like they were so concerned with whether or not they could, they didn't stop with whether or not they should.
giant black dragon behind him.
Yeah, it's with, like,
oh my god!
Inexplicably with John Hammond's hat on. Though.
Imagine running a game and like you bring out this giant black dragon mini, hit play on your phone.
Yeah, it's like
no, I think you just do it with your voice like that. I like that.
it's perfect.
My players are used to me doing that.
I appreciate the smoothness with which you deployed the black dragon, so you could be there and you wouldn't even know it. That's it.
Right.
That's how you know.
Right?
That's how they get you. That's how they get you. Just like that.
I also think it confirms how humid it must be if black dragons are like, yeah, I don't want to be down there. I'll be up here. So back to dwarves are either doing it on purpose to cultivate algae and ants, or they should be shaving.
That's, again.
I'm gonna hit this note over and over because I sound so uncomfortable.
I'm with you with the the evolutionary adaptation here, not lining up. It's not lining up. Like that.
You don't have to wait for evolution. Just
Or,
I don't know.
Or
I grew up somewhere extremely humid.
Ugh,
me too.
With a lot of hair, right? And then in the last year or two, I've started side shaving, and it's so much cooler. And I don't know why I didn't know this. I assume that being a teenager in Missouri in the 90s, I wouldn't have gone over great if I shaved my head. But I wish I had.
I grew up
a teenager in. Go ahead.
I grew up in San Diego and then went to Jacksonville, Florida once, and I got there at night, and it was okay. And the place I was staying had AC. And then the next morning, I opened the front door and went, why?
I'm from Little Rock, Arkansas. I remember those 100-degree heat, 100% humidity days where you just rub your hand and it was covered in water. Like literally, you're like, shouldn't I need gills for this?
Now, breathing washcloths.
Now take that. Oh no, there's a bug on the inside of my light here. No.
Go away.
Right, it is. Yeah. Hopefully I'm not going to ruin it. There it goes. It's died a warrior's death. Yeah. That's like those kind of things. I always think about that, which again, just how like nasty and like hot and oppressive it must be when you're wearing like heavy plate and stuff slogging through the jungle.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And then assassin.
The one time I'll allow chainmail bikini. That seems reasonable.
Valid there. It's a valid life choice there for every party member to just
Oh man, somebody please draw over the albino dwarf art and give him a chainmail bikini.
It's true. It's true. It's
I don't
terrifying.
I don't know if you all know much lore about them, but I needed a gush moment about grung because I love grung and they're just adorable and they're so much fun to use.
I have a complex relationship with grung.
Oh really?
Well, grung have never harmed me. Grung have never done anything wrong by me, but I suffered so greatly at the hands of murlocs.
Oh God!
That there's a certain amount of transference. Anytime I hear, I'm just PTSD. So, that's why. But grung are neat. Yes, they are
very cute.
They are very cute. Also, some of them are poisonous. Yeah.
Dylan in the chat just said one grung above.
There's a one grung above campaign.
Yep.
Somebody did that on the stream, but I'm drawing a blank.
Well, I think you can actually get it on D&D Beyond. I think.
Yeah. But there's an all grung campaign. That is true.
If you had been in my campaign, you would just been slaughtering all of them because that's the exact sound that I made for them. I just like they're murlocs. I'm just gonna use murloc sound.
just right after your murloc noise, you just would have been that Kill Bill noise. And you're all like, why is this giant man in a chainmetal bikini just indiscriminately massacring grung? Yeah, they know what they did.
Here's a question.
Okay.
So there's also there's also bullywugs in Chult, which are also frog people.
Yes.
How do bullywugs feel about grung?
But grung are tiny.
Yeah, but are bullywugs like I mean, I think a bullywug, I don't know actually what the intent of bullywug is. I feel like they're smart enough to go tiny frog person, big frog person. Are they like squish, gross, creep me out? Or are they like,
I like to.
You're gonna be tiny me, or are they like, we'll protect you?
I like the idea that like a bullywug like stumbled upon some grung one time. And they're like, oh, they worship a frog that's bigger than them. Well, I'm a frog and I'm bigger than them. Like you got Jabba's palace and it's this bullywug with all these grung running around.
Now that's the fan art I need of Jabba Bullywug with palace.
Just imagine the tiny little grung with Boba Fett armor on, just standing in the back.
Yeah, and the one salacious crumb when they're at the front. It's I agree. It's like grung are like cute little sweet frogs, and bullywug are not that. You know, I'm going to assume just because of that's how this game tends to work.
Imagine you're the bullywug.
True. Yeah, if you're like 7 foot 300 pounds as a bullywug, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is it like like a human having like a marmoset?
Except
we're kind of related. You're pretty dang cute, and then also I can like, rub your poison on my spear.
So here's the thing: bullywugs range from 4 feet to 7 feet, from 100 to 300 pounds. So I feel like there's just like one like loser bullywug that's like 5'7", 155. That stumbled onto a group of grung and is like the Biff to their Marty. He just torments them to feel good about himself. Yep. Mm-hmm.
See, this is why you come to Champions of Lore for all of the side things that you can put into your games.
We show you how to reassemble these
hypotheticals,
pieces. Yeah,
right?
To craft your own delightful meal from the ingredients on the menu.
Exactly. Like, I mean, really, when you break it down, like lore is sort of opportunities for your game. I think that's how you described it, right? And so there's times where you have like, here's a pillar. If I say both of these are there, what happens in between them, right? If I have this jungle setting and I have multiple frog peoples, what do the frog peoples think about each other? There's so many choices. But I don't know. I think that's fun to think about because it isn't just like fun detail. And once you start making those connections, like you start to create like a tapestry and something that's immersive and feels like it could be real, even if it's a little bonkers.
Especially if it's a little bonkers.
Mm-hmm. If it's a little bonkers.
See, in my mind now, I have this full like grung bullywug alliance to go to war with the goblins in the jungles, and they never bother to explain it to the people. So it's just like massive conflict going down, and they're like.
But also, like, imagine, like, because I'm not gonna spoil that. There's a cool thing out in the jungle. If you go to Chult, check it out. But like, just imagine, hang on a second.
Wait, it's been like 3 years. I feel like the statute of limitations is up on this.
There might be a Batari group that has a giant stone statue they can't use, but maybe they can. And there's this giant epic battle with all these grung and goblins and everything running at each other. Giant stone robot coming at them, and it just. But then like it pans out, and there's just some boring humans sitting at like Camp Vengeance going. Batari are rowdy today.
Sipping my distilled artisan pond water. Now we have not mentioned the largest settlement there, which this is another one of those places that I've heard so many different ways of saying it, and I've read and never heard.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But I just always said it's Port Nyanzaru is how I say it.
Oh,
I like that. I'm gonna say that from now on.
See, I did it with Port Nyanzaru.
Mine is more like that, but I have to admit, it's not a name I've ever said out loud.
Yeah,
it's again one of those ones.
In my head, it sounds like Nyanzaru, but I think that makes more sense to collapse it.
Sense, but since I did check. I've not seen an official pronunciation anywhere, but that's just the way that I always said it.
I have the book. Let me see.
We've
forgotten so many times about that pronunciation guide.
That is true. It's straight up.
Amnian, that's not probably gonna be. I'm like, is it an Amnian name? Is it come from?
It has to be. Yeah, it's a cult. It's a cult from or a colony from.
But did they name it? This is one of those things where it's like, this is a rabbit hole I don't need to be going down.
Or
but if I were writing in a book, 100% I would be going down this rabbit hole like fast and hard. It's an Amnian settlement. So Am presumably named it. Did they name it with an Amnian word, or did they name it with a word that people from Chult were using, a Chultan word that they have? And if they did that, did they bastardize it with an Amnian pronunciation? And that would tell us how to pronounce it.
Perkins. There's no pronunciation for Port Nyanzaru, but it references Port Nyanzaru several times in other people's definitions.
Knowing what I know of which is on Sword Coast. It's kind of to the south of the Sword Coast. It's sort of like a bit of a frenemy nation. I have a different relationship with because of A Darkened Wish and how much in all of it drawing on the lore of the Moonshae Isles. Lady Eliza on Snowden being an Amish spy. I'm Omnian spy, not Amish. Although she might be, but she doesn't have any technology in her place, so maybe maybe she might have people hand churn butter. I don't know.
I shall start a war with you because you wear colors on your clothes.
It's true. Harlot. Look at all that ankle you're showing off, Treavor. War.
So much ankle.
Those are nice socks, and I'm gonna get my Puritan dwarves here to come. Gonna bring them up. We're gonna slow boat them because they don't use technology. But when they get here, war. But she is a spy for so in that story, is very much the enemy because she's trying to foster a hostile takeover. So even though as a place, I don't necessarily think is an evil nation as such in my mind, like But yes, Port Nyanzaru is an Omnian settlement.
Mm-hmm. And I didn't know that when I went into doing Tomb of Annihilation, so I didn't treat it like that at all.
But I feel like the tone and texture of Port Nyanzaru is not supposed to feel like I think like by now, even though the timeline of the Forgotten Realms is always moving, so the city's been there for years.
Independent now.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's a colony of in the sense that like New Amsterdam was a colony. It's like we are, but we got dinosaur races. We got once you start off with dinosaur races, like you're your own people at that point.
Dinosaur races are so much fun.
Dinosaur races are so much fun. Yeah.
One of my players won on a dinosaur named Nasty Man. But yeah, the Port Nyanzaru has the merchant princes, which run everything, and it's kind of like they all talk amongst themselves, decide on something, and then that goes forward. I don't think there's another government group that they go through or anything like that. I think it's just them.
I appreciate that. Again, is frenemies with Waterdeep. It's kind of like you be up there, we'll be down here type thing.
Like a mercantile at the best.
Exactly, but still comes back to that. We're all like it is still a merchant, a class-based merchant dominated society essentially, but with more dinosaurs.
I do know that a lot of people basically treat Port Nyanzaru kind of just like Dinotopia, where like
look at the art.
Yeah,
they treated it like Dinotopia.
Right?
Yeah. No,
that's the only. I think that's the best place to do it too. It's the place. It's the dino place.
It's the dino place.
What I'm surprised has not come up more often, and I myself have done in my stories. Like, remember, well, I mean, in the real world, Hannibal Barca brought elephants over into Italy, or in the Lord of the Rings, the Oliphant like platforms with the archers all over the back, during the war. That it's just like every once in a while in a story that's like summertime in Waterdeep, somebody just rolls up with a boat and just like prods 3 tyrannosaurs off onto the docks.
Oh my god.
Get him,
Get him, go.
It's just
you all saw Jurassic Park 2. Get out there.
You know what this is. Exactly. Also, to this is I'm with that Jurassic Park 2. I was always like, wait a second. If here's this severed arm holding onto the button, how did the Tyrannosaur get closed back inside? But never mind.
See, meanwhile, I was sitting there in San Diego watching, going, that's not where the docks are. Do y'all have any other things you want to focus on Chult before we get into some chat questions?
Let me make sure that we hit all of the do visit Chult. Hopefully you'll survive and return from there.
You know.
That's true. Yeah.
Ubteo and the Night Serpent.
Oh yeah.
Stuff.
Yeah, that half the people there are like, the Night Serpent must not be released, and the other half are like, except the Night Serpent must be released.
So like, but what if the Night Serpent was released and we just partied?
What if he was though? What if he was? You know? I
think Dendar's female.
Oh really?
I think Zendar's female as well. Yeah.
Serpent mother.
Oh, hang on. Wait. I'm drawing another blank. There's one other thing that I have to say. And this is one of the ones that a Sararak. Yeah. I don't know. My brain just wouldn't form the word Sararak. Shout out to Sararak, my homie. Can't make it through a conversation about this without putting it out there.
Yeah, no, he's fun times. Also, you know, if you're running a campaign in there and a Syrax's running around, just remember that is an excuse to throw literally whatever you want onto that island because maybe he got bored and brought it there.
He's got some time on his hands and some power. So it's the reverse that I was like, why don't you take Tyrannosaurus to Waterdeep? It's like he's there and he's just like, you know what? Cypriax. Gooey boy.
God dang it!
I was going to say Polarware.
Yeah,
Polarware in the middle of
Oh
the
man,
jungle.
then you can just have a whole campaign that's lost.
Do you know how, like, okay, so we already alluded to where we're from. I've never seen a sadder thing than the polar bear at the Little Rock Zoo. Like, could you imagine how sad the polar bear would be in Chult? That you're just like, boom, and it's like,
yeah, the polar bears in San Diego sit next to those fake snow drifts, and they're just like, what is this?
Mm-hmm.
What is this? What is this supposed to be?
Mm-hmm.
But
do the frost giants? Can the frost giants make like frosty areas around them?
Yes.
So maybe, you know, it's just gonna work really hard.
That's true. That's true.
Which is its own problem because then you've interrupted all that biodiversity we talked about.
No, but think about it though, but like how like gross, because you know when you get sweaty and you're all sticky and everything, you know what I mean? Like this like one polar bear would be like Pigpen from the Peanuts. Just this swirling mass of just grossness around it and just mad all the time.
Trying to freeze all the jungle.
Yep.
That'd be so hot.
It's chill.
Jumping in that river and freezing all the Aldani out.
No.
They're trained piranhas.
I mean, do you imagine how much patience and time it must take to train a piranha? Well, I mean, you can get it to do one thing. Like one thing it's super clear on. But when you're like
wait to do the thing.
Yeah, right. Hold now. Yeah.
All right, let's hop over to the chat and see what they have. Let's see. Froxus 820 says, "I want to know what battle is on Erin's whiteboard."
That is some noodling for a book that I'm
Noodling.
working on.
What battle isn't on her board back there?
Right. The struggle of the author. That's the battle on my board.
I will just
I need
say,
to clear it up because I should put something back there.
your friend Erin, who I will not name, your friend has the same thing going on behind them, and I was like, I understand why you guys are friends. I saw it. It's just like either they're invading, Europe or working out a choppy act too. One or the other.
Yep.
One or the other.
So my friend Kyle is in the chat again, and he says, "Is it possible to polymorph an atropal into a cow?" Yes, Kyle, it is, because you did it.
Is it possible to polymorph a who into a what?
Is
now?
it possible to polymorph? We'll get your opinions on this. Is it possible to polymorph an atropal into a cow?
I mean, if it fails to save,
and it did.
Yeah,
and it had advantage. But that's because I was rolling the dice.
However, would not suggest barbecuing that cow.
So here's the thing. I had to end that campaign really quick because one of the players is leaving, so I just had it that an outside force used Wish and turned the cow permanently, or made it permanently a cow. And then my players, in their headcanon, took that and called it a cowtropal and started a farm on Chult and make the best cheese anywhere in the realms. It's also now missing, and that is a plot point in my games.
I mean, considering it's surrounded by about 17 things that could eat it, there's a lot of places where it could be.
Oh no, they found out where it is. They just don't know how to get there because they have no way to get to Theros. Anywho, Trontarian says, God dang it. He says they're terrifying, but spelled it like pterodactyl.
Yeah, no, that was the gag.
Yeah,
That was
gag.
That's the.
Yep.
Wait, hang on. Wait, Trevor, did you not realize that was the gag?
No, I got it was the gag. I just saw it now and it was like it's spelled out. I got it.
Act 1 callback. Act 1 callback. Yeah.
Let's see.
Like my sweet summer child.
Oh, you didn't get to call me that. Let's see. Silver Anatholus says Durgard are bald, aren't they? So that would take care of one part of the hair. Or well, no,
Or at least
no, they have
some
beards.
of them do.
Yeah, they're bald headed,
Some
but
of
they
them
got
do,
beards.
and some of them don't.
Yeah.
I love that 4th edition artwork that made it look like it was a giant metal shield attached to their beards.
Yeah. I've seen both.
They seem less attached to their beards than like hill dwarves.
Well, I mean, well, no. Here's what's messed up, because I was about to say, because when they're shimmying through the nooks and crannies in the Underdark, it's easy to get snagged on stuff. But theoretically, that's what dwarves are for. So it's I don't know. Maybe it is a form of like lubricant's not the word I'm looking for, but like the beard slides easier, and that's why you can, like punch through things.
The guy get real oily, yeah. Jay has made me aware that Dylan in the chat has brought up the infamous Displacer Beast cheese now, and I think that's another thing that that farm should start selling.
I was gonna say they can't find their cowtropal. They should, branch out. Displacer Beast cheese.
I might make them do that. That's great.
I tried at least once. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Let's see. Jellybro11 says, imagine if you were to hear a growl and you think it's a big cat, and instead it's just a giant dragon looking down on you.
You're like, oh no, a jaguar. Oh,
it got worse.
No. It's I don't know if at the risk of this is another movie that the statute of limitations is up on, The Departed. If you recall, at the very last second, like Matt Damon walks into the apartment and the person is there to kill him, and he turns and he freezes for a second, and then he goes, okay, so wait. That's how it is with the dragon. You're like,
no, it's 100%.
Okay, wait, dragon, come on, hold on, wait.
Now wait a minute. You gotta give me a chance to get prepped at least a little.
Exactly. You're an intelligent creature. We can talk this through.
Exactly, right? Like that's the benefit. A jaguar is gonna be like hungry, chomp. And a black dragon, you might be able to reason with it.
And it's like, let me ask you just one quick question. Poison gas breath. Yeah. Wait, no, black dragon acid breath.
Yeah.
Green dragon.
Right,
Yeah. Either way, blah.
I mean, at some point, does it matter to you? You're like, it's gross and it killed you.
It's true.
It's gross and it killed you.
That right there is the tagline of the Chult Travel Society. It's gross and it killed you. Yeah.
Either the thing was gross or you are gross.
Though do play Tomb of Annihilation, kids. You can go and die and not come back.
Yeah.
Not come back.
Garwar says jungle dwarves. Wasn't that headmaster at that magic school? And while I'm pissed off at that franchise right now, all I could hear in my head was jungle dwarves.
See, I went straight to Morris Day and the Time. My jungle dwarves.
Yes.
Oh, we yeah, right. In a legally distinct manner.
Ova Lauren says, see, we did summon her.
Hey,
this is talking about the Jurassic Park thing with Chult. Every dragon kill can be prefaced by saying, "Clever girl."
Yep. Ugh.
Garwar says, when the chainmail get hot in the sun though? Well, no, because you're so sweaty it doesn't even matter.
I assume under the canopy too.
Yeah.
So you won't get that scorching metal, but also just
Imagine the tan lines when you take it off, though. Like you go back to Neverwinter or wherever, and you're in like the cathedral changing, and they're like,
what happened there?
harlot, harlot, smite.
Oh my lord! I think this had to do with we were talking about One Grung Above being an adventure on D&D Beyond. She says, "Yep, Chris Lindsay, bless his heart." So Chris Lindsay did that one.
Yes. I was like somebody played that one, and I was trying to remember who. It was Lindsay. I mean, I think he wrote it too. I think. Yeah.
Robo Goblin 01 says, "I for one love frog people." That's good. That's good.
Just no one that licks their eyeball should be trusted.
I want to put that on a shirt just to confuse people. Just walk around with that.
Especially because it's irrefutable. Like you read it,
yeah.
You're like, I mean, yes, but why?
Yeah, but why?
Is that a line you have to draw in this thing? It seems like it should come with that line.
Hey, look, I'm not here to kink shame you, Aaron. You know, so you.
Oh man, Jelly Bro 11 says, "Imagine if all grungs sounded like Kermit the Frog when they speak common."
But we're like terrible. You will not escape from the jungles of Chult. We will decorate the forest with your entrails. You know what, Jelly Bro? You've done me a favor. Now I like grungs. Now I got a different thing to hook them into from Murlocs. Now they can be murderous Kermit the Frog.
But see, now I'm combining it with the plot we came up with earlier, where it's just like, you will not go in. I can't do a Kermit the Frog. You will not go in here. We worship the beautiful piggy.
The piggy's like a flesh golem. No. Wait, what's the pig demon? We were just talking about the pig demons.
A dretch.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
But it looks like Miss Piggy.
It's got like a robe, but they're like a wig, but the wig is made but it's made out of Dwegar beards. This is how you bring the Lord to life at your home table.
Which adventures did you bring me today? Evil Emperor Zerg says, if I remember correctly, Chris Perkins pronounces it as Nyanzaru. Yeah, so that's how Perkins pronounces it. But again, pronounce it however you want. Let's see. I think this is in reference to, oh god, yeah. Oh, you know what? I think Obalora is right. Isn't that how Christina Ariel showed up in Dice Camera Action Waterdeep riding a giant T-Rex as a queen? Yes, she did. I remember watching that one.
That's pretty cool.
All seems to be, if anyone would, let's be honest.
It's true. It's true.
Very on brand.
Yeah. Let's see. Rival Evolution says, dinosaurs are awesome in general. There are so many cool species and new discoveries made all the time. And Jay agrees, dinosaurs are awesome in all caps.
It's another one of those things that I always felt bad about, that it's like, the CR system of D&D is always weird, and it doesn't quite line up, but it's, you're just trying and find things that are like an appropriate challenge. I just feel like none of the dinosaurs rank as heavy as they should, though, because like a Tyrannosaur is like a CR 6 or 7 or something, and I'm like, I'm like, feel like it should place a little more admirably for its class, really. But because I feel like a full-grown Tyrannosaur is equal to a young dragon, personally. But that's.
So usually I try to read these in order, but one caught my eye down there. The Dr. B is here in the chat. Thank you, Dr. B. For being here.
Hey, Dr. B.
And I just love this because I just assumed that he came into this late, because it just says, Displacer Beast cheese and beard lubricant? What?
First of all,
welcome
you're welcome.
To the show.
You're welcome. We didn't even get into the hipster beholder, and we can't make it through a week without mentioning Orcus and his boombox. There you go. Yeah, we're all compounding. We're building lore. The show has its own lore. See, we're showing you all in real time.
Someone says, Cassius335 says, imagine kobolds platform riding a mammoth. That's close enough to an elephant, right?
Yeah, that's true. Human can get his hands on a mammoth.
Yes.
I mean, of course, Human is just a very normal person. That
Absolutely.
that he's just a normal man.
Normal man. This question is from Kid Like 101. Question for Erin. He's admittedly says unrelated. Does Frida's name mean anything in English? Because in Arabic it is a very common name that oddly means unique.
It is from the Arabic name. It's actually the Persian version, I believe, which I don't know if I would do again, but it was originally she was a character I played who was very different in the end, because what makes a good character in a game is not necessarily what makes a good character in a novel. But originally, when we were talking about how to distinguish Time and There and Dragonborn, there were a couple language groups that we said, okay, pull things from like sound concepts from these. And I just really liked the name, so I used it. And then I was like, I love this name.
Yeah.
I think I established in Draconic, it means, oh no, I don't remember. Havilar means ruby in Draconic because I said so. I want to say Frida meant treasure, but I don't know that's for sure.
Speaking of Draconic,
it's my pharmacist's name too, which I always feel a little weird about.
I love it. Speaking of Draconic, I gotta spotlight Erin for a moment. I was streaming with my friends on Friday. We were playing Divinity Original Sin 2, and I decided to make a lizard person. And Erin had already said hi in the chat and everything. And everyone's like, "Oh, what are you gonna name your lizard person?" I'm like, "Oh, I don't know. I want something kind of like Draconic." Wait, what am I doing? Erin's in the chat. Erin, what should I name it? And she puts it in the chat. Let me get my spreadsheet. And I love Erin so much just for that one sentence.
Listen, let me give you like a big fantasy writing tip. If you are not great at making up names on the fly, that can really throw, like if that's something you just do naturally and it's easy and you don't have to think about it too hard, do what you do. But for me, like I want to find the right name, and so I'll hit those points and I'll go, oh, now I have to stop. So what I do when I have a new project, once I've kind of gotten an idea to like feel out, like this is the kind of culture I'm creating, and this is the kind of sounds, I will make a spreadsheet that is just this huge list of names. You're like, here's male names, here's female names, here's gender neutral names, here's last names. And so then when I have the character, I can look at that list and go, they feel like Reshvemi, I think was the name.
Yeah, that was the one that I did, yeah.
So that I don't have to do that on the fly, because it can really throw a wrench in the works.
You know, while we're sharing our secret tips, then that is how Erin does it with the names. How I do it is there's a website that is called WordStuck. The website is so, but it was a big thing on Tumblr and all this stuff for a while. So I will go into Google search, and in parentheses there runs word space stuck, and then the concept that you want, like fire or anger or rage or violence, and it pulls unique words from all over the world. That reflect the concept. Yeah, and that's where I pull a lot of my names from. I'll like break it down or like vary it just slightly. That's a lot of my NPC names are just straight up words from obscure languages. That's true.
Both of those methods are way better than mine of just staring at a keyboard and making sounds with letters I look at. Anywho, the last one I'm gonna read before we do some more plugs, and this is purely for me. It was Silver Anthalis says, "Who's on Displacer Beast milking duty?" That is a halfling whose stage name is Pistachio Mansley. Purely for me. That's from my campaign. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do from the chat. We're running a little late, but I still want to talk more about the show that was announced today, because not everybody was here. B-Dave, why don't you let them know what is going on?
February 22nd, 4 p.m. Pacific, our new show is launching, featuring players that all have heroes in Idle Champions, including Erin M. Evans will be playing Havilar, Mr. Mark Mears, Brayloth the Entertainer, Christina Ariel as Ariza, Vivid Vivka as the Black Viper, not in the first arc, but soon, Adam Bradford as Briv, with some special guests. And I see in the time that we've been talking, CNE Games put up that the first one is going to be the Unfair Seas. But I'm not going to say anymore because I don't know how much you already know about what that is, and I don't want to ruin the surprise. But I will say follow C&E Games on Twitch, or on Twitch, where we are now, but also on Twitter because they posted more stuff today already. They posted our super dope artwork, and we're going to be announcing more things over the weeks leading up to it. But the most important thing is the stream will affect the game, and the game will affect the stream. So pay very close attention to see what you got to do to be a part of it. But it's going to be a grand old time. Oh, yeah, and I'm DMing it with my lucky boy Freely will be there also. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I'm DMing it.
What else?
I did see something at the beginning of the show, the chat that was just like, yeah, the players will get there at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. DM will show up around 5.
It's true. I'll roll in at a breezy 3:50. Like, hang on, we're good. Yeah, I'm like, and roll initiative. It's gonna be great. But I will see. I'll give like one little peek right here. There's definitely gonna be some NPCs you will get to name. You all will help affect which bosses they face. You will help affect how powerful the bosses they face are. So if you like being terrible,
oh no,
please tune in.
I've never seen Aaron go, what have I signed up for?
I was talking to a friend like about so in our game that we play on Dungeon Scrawlers, she has this character Artemisia. She really likes her character, and she's like, I really don't want her to die. Like, that stresses me out a lot. And I'm thinking about that in the context of this game. I'm like, well, if you kill Havilar,
resurrection magic
he's still going to persist in this game.
Yeah.
He can't make those novels disappear. It'll be fine.
All right.
That made me think of like the old Penny Arcade podcast after Aophel died, and Scott Kurtz is like, Binwin cannot die. I've built a lot of merch around him.
Hey, resurrection magic exists in D&D. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
But that is going to bring us to the end of the show. Aaron, B. Dave, where can people find you, and what awesome things are you working on?
You know what? I always end up stealing the last minute of spotlight. So I'm gonna give this to my wonderful friend Erin M. Evans. I'm everywhere. Follow me on the Tweetagrams at @BDaveWalters.
I'm on Twitter at Erin M. Evans. I play Cecilia on Dungeon Scrawlers Wednesdays at 6:30. Last week we did a ridiculous thing that you guys unlocked, or that our fans unlocked, where we played cats in the Dreamlands. And that went well, but we didn't get to the end, so we're doing it again. More being cats. Hopefully we're not permanently cats. And our waking humanoid lives were just a dream. Yeah, those are my places. And soon. Idle Champions presents.
Hey, and apparently Wednesday on Lauren's in the chat. I hope she said the right name. I think it's Dungeon Drunks. Yeah, Wednesday.
Oh yeah,
that's the thing we did. Yeah, so there you go.
That was the highest level game I've ever played. That was exciting.
Now it is your turn to be my sweet summer child. We'll talk.
Yeah, we'll talk.
We'll talk.
I need an NPC with that voice. You can find me on Difficulty Class every Friday, and on Twitter at the Treavor. I almost said at Difficulty Podcast. I mean, you're not wrong, but you can find me on Twitter at the Treavor. There is an A hiding in there. Thank you to Jay for moderating in the chat as always, and thank you to Codename. Oh.
You got the little thing you do tomorrow as well.
I haven't put it in there. Okay. Yes. Also, I'm the host of Champions Psychology, which is every Tuesday here on twitch.tv/CNE Games, and is with the Dr. B and Mitra Jordan, and it is a really good conversation time, openly talking about mental health, and we've had a blast doing it, and we hope you join us tomorrow for it, and so on. And continually. But yeah, thank you to Jay again. Thank you to Codename Entertainment for letting us talk about some D&D. If you missed any part of the show, you can catch what you missed today at 2 p.m. on your favorite podcast services. And if you have any suggestions for future topics you would like to hear us do, you can send those into championsoflore@codenameentertainment.com. If you're here with us live in the chat, be sure to stick around at 1 p.m. for Improvised Champions. And if you're not with us live in the chat, we hope you're here with us next week at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time here on twitch.tv/CNE Games. But until next time, Champions out.